sometime, Jess.
I
Now the ball is ready. All right.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's right. Shake and rub. Shake and rub. All right.
What are we doing tonight? At Stephen's house, having a cookout for Jean's birthday. What are you up to?
No.
It is.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, tell everybody come here.
Okay. You want to talk to him?
No, tell everybody come here a minute. Tell everybody come here.
All right.
No, just tell everybody come here. Tell everybody come here.
Your daddy wants everybody to come out.
Oh, okay.
I'll go
This
find
is Cheryl. She wants to put this on speaker.
I know. She wants to talk to you.
Oh. All right. Hold on. He wants me to wait and then get everybody together. Okay.
Yeah, salt's enough.
You would say what?
Tell
How old
everybody
is
come here.
Jean? 60.
Hey, sweet girl.
Tell Stephen and Chastity, come on. Here, we're going to try to get the whole flock out here real quick. Chastity, get them to come on real quick. You got somebody holding on the phone. Tell that whole crew to get out of here.
Tell the whole crew to get
The
out.
whole crew.
The whole crew.
Please.
We're missing 2 people. Okay, got it. Are you going to watch Scared or Ghost Mommy?
Yeah, we got married on his birthday.
Yeah, we'll come.
40.
Man, that was a good birthday present.
I got married on my 20th birthday, so I can remember how many years I've been married, but I can't remember how old I am.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, and some friends.
Too old. I'm going to be careful, buddy.
Yeah, we had a surprise for Jean. He was a little surprised.
I was a lot surprised.
Come on, girl.
I mean, just everybody.
Steven.
Just people. Surprised.
Andrew, you made it. Come here.
All right, so.
Okay, listen. This person wants to tell Kathy something.
All right, I'm putting you on speaker. So.
Is this everybody?
Everybody out
All
here?
right, here we go. Is this on?
Hey.
Hey.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Who are we talking to? I am fine. It is. It's great. It's wonderful. Some of my best friends in the world are here. That is correct.
What?
40th.
40. Come on, 40.
I am.
Okay. Well, I'm calling to tell you that your anniversary gift from your husband, he is giving you a trip to Israel next year.
Are you serious?
So happy anniversary. And I look forward to you doing a trip with us, 11 days in Israel.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
11 days in Israel.
Well, thank you. I was telling somebody at school today I didn't think I was going to get to go because I didn't know how that would all come about, but
Yeah.
I guess I know now.
I wanted to let you know and wish y'all a happy anniversary and happy birthday to Jean. And
Wow.
just hope y'all have a great time in celebration tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I look forward to going to Israel with you.
What's that?
I said I look forward to going to Israel with you.
Yeah, so I'll get the information to you.
Okay.
And I want to go. And we'll kind of go from there.
I guess you get married 40
Well,
years.
thank
you
you.
make it happen.
Thank you. All right, thanks. Bye.
Everybody, all right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Y'all know Cheryl Rebels? Some of y'all know her?
Nah.
She's overall special needs people in School District 7. And that's half of the money. And
Better behave, Kathy. Better behave.
we'll come up with the other half. But that's $1,500 of cash in there. Cheryl Rebels has got a bunch of mission trips and stuff together. And Kathy's for about a month been saying, I've always wanted to go to Israel. Cheryl's going to Israel with a bunch of people. I'd really like to go to Israel. So I thought that might be a good thing.
Make it happen.
Right.
Make it
Hey,
happen.
how long y'all fix to put them steaks on?
Yeah, we don't have long.
What's that?
Put them on. Hey, listen, I've asked R. Jackson to tell a story, and he was in the middle of one story. I would like for all y'all to hear this story that Robert shared with me about his dad years ago. And so, if you want to finish the first one, and then you tell the second one.
All right, first story is a guy by Robert Poole was in medical school, and he was a good Christian brother, and one day he just happened to catch me in a stairwell at school. It was just the two of us in the stairwell, and we were talking, and he looked at me and he says, you know, it is within my power both to bless and to curse. And he said, today I choose to bless. And he looked at me and he said, may the Lord bless you, my brother. And then he just turned around and walked off. And I never heard anybody say anything like that. And it was just very strong. It was very powerful and very emphatic. And ever after he said that, it just made a huge impression on my life. The power of the word, the spoken word, and the power of you and me as Christian folks to impart a blessing to one another. And ever after that, I've always remembered, and occasionally I will say that to somebody. Somebody comes in my office, somebody who's a friend of mine, I'll just look at them and say, you know, God has given me the power to bless and to curse. And today, I choose to bless. May the Lord bless you, my brother or my sister. And you know, when I say that, sometimes they look at me like I got two heads. But it doesn't matter to me because it's true. God gives you and me the power to impart a blessing, God's blessing. And we shouldn't just keep it to ourselves. We should bless folks. And when my patients leave me, I almost always say, the Lord bless you. Whether they're Christians or not, doesn't matter to me. I always say to them, may the Lord bless you. And you and I should do the same thing because we can impart a blessing by the spoken word. All right, that's the first story. Second story is this.
Excuse me a second. Let me introduce one thing with Robert. Robert is probably one of my dearest friends, and my children all know that. One night, at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, no, it wasn't quite that late. It was getting near dark, and for some reason, Brianna got real nervous in the car. And she said, Daddy, if our car breaks down, we're way up in the mountains, way up near the Blue Ridge Parkway on 276. If our car breaks down right now, who are we going to call? What we're going to do? What we're going to do? And I don't know why she had that thought. And I said, well, Brianna, who do you think we'd call? And Brianna said, well, I know if you called Robert Jackson, he'd come and get us. And she said, and if you called John Thornburg, he'd come and get us. At that time, Tony Cribb was our pastor. And the third person she said, Tony Cribb would come and get us. And so as a little kid, she recognized that Robert was somebody that would be there for our family and if we need it. But Robert's just been a dear friend, and I thank you for being here. But this is one of my favorite stories Robert's told me, and I hope y'all enjoy it.
When I was in college, every time I left on a Sunday afternoon to drive to Clemson from my home, which was a 3.5-hour drive, when I'd pack my belongings to leave to go to Clemson, my dad would always slip into my bedroom and he would kneel by my bed and he would hold my hand and he would pray for me before I left to go to Clemson. And I'd often be gone for a month at a time, sometimes longer when I went off to Clemson. But it made a huge impact on my life to come in there and kneel down and pray for me. He would never let me pray. He always wanted to be the one to pray, and he would pray for me. And he'd pray for my safety, he'd pray for my schoolwork, he'd pray for my spiritual life. But it made a big impact on my life. Well, then when I went on to medical school, he would do the same thing. Every time I would leave to go off to medical school, he would pray for me. Well, one day when I was leaving to go to my second year of medical school, the very first day of my second year of medical school, it was a Saturday morning, and I was leaving the neighborhood, driving away from my hometown to go to Charleston. And my dad was a family doctor. He had been to the hospital. He was driving back into our neighborhood as I was driving out of the neighborhood, and he met me and flagged me down. He parked his car on one side of the road, I parked on the other side of the road. He ran across the road, and I rolled my window down in my vehicle, and he kneeled down in the road, stuck his hand into the window, and said, let me pray for you. And my dad prayed for me before I went off to medical school for my second year of school. And of course, the same prayer that he always prayed. He prayed for my safety, he prayed for my schoolwork, prayed for my spiritual life. And then he ran across the road, got in his vehicle, I rolled up the window, and I drove off to medical school. And that was the last time I ever saw my dad. That day he was killed in an airplane crash flying to Texas to a flying physicians meeting. He had his own airplane. And he got caught in a thunderstorm in Louisiana and his plane crashed. And we did not know what became of him for 5 days. Could not find his plane. He crashed in a swamp in Louisiana. And we were unable to find his airplane for 5 days. So we didn't know if he was alive or dead. But the point of this whole story is that the last time I saw my father, he was kneeling in the roadway, his hand through the window, clasping my hand and praying over me. And you know, there's a lot of legacies that a father can leave with the son, and that's probably the least part of what my dad imparted to me. But it's the last memory that I have of my dad is him praying for me before I went to medical school. And that made a huge impact in my life. And those of you who are dads, those of you who will soon be dads, I just challenge you, spend a lot of time praying for your children at those important junctures in their life. When my kids go off to school, I pray for them. When they leave for important things in their life, I pray for them. Of course, we pray over our meals. And I want them to have that memory of their father as being someone who prays for them at every turn in the road. And that's my story. Yeah, good story.